this is the bullish count for the S&P 500, and it's easy to look at a bullish count when you see the market going up in your direction. So I think we still need to focus a little bit more on the bearish count, and yeah, so for that reason, but before we go to the bearish count, we'll just take a look at this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. That's the bullish count, and then working up here as 1 and 2 and a series of 1s and 2s through here. Now we'll go to the bearish count because that's where we left off, and I won't go into a great detail here on the S&P because it's a little bit tricky to get your head around. It's easier to look at the NASDAQ, and in fact the NASDAQ pattern is really the pattern that we're seeing, you know, from Apple to Bitcoin basically. So in this case here, where we're looking at the S&P on the bearish count as the ABC here, obviously that's valid until it's not, which would be this top taken out here. But I don't think we should actually jump to a bullish count just yet. I mean, obviously we'll look at it, but I think that we will need to do something like this here first. And this would also be in line for the banks that are moving to the upside as well. So we can expect the top to be taken out here, but at the same time, I think we need to have a look at bring the other, you know, constituents from these sectors into the count, and we'll be looking at BAC, Bank of America, and we've been looking at that as an ABC to the upside. So I don't think that we need to jump to the bullish side just yet, but it's certainly on the cards, and don't want to stick my head in the sand. I like to take a balanced view on things, so that's what I will be doing. But I'll go into this one a little bit more detail in the next video. So we've had a bearish and bullish count on the NASDAQ as well. This is actually a bullish count because it's got wave 2 here, but don't worry about that at the moment. That's not the important point. The important point is this move up through here, because we've been counting it in two ways. One with the top in place here and looking at stocks in the market with tops in there as well, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So this will be the case here with most stocks with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, stocks that have been moving to the upside, the the NVIDIAs, the Apple and so on. So really what we need to do here is we need to sort of look at this here as a little, I think this is a 1 and 2 in here, and then there'll be a 3, 4 and 5. It'll be something like this here, which will be really good, because what will occur is hopefully we get this, and I think we should be taking this top out here. Now the thing is that we're going to be left with the first high above the 13,000 here. So what that does is that will give us the trigger to go bullish at that point. But at the same time, if we've got 5 waves here, if that's a wave 2 here, now I need to put my bullish hat on, we'll need to look at this as wave 1 here and wave 2 coming back over here for that. So what will occur here is we'll end up with some type of ABC correction here. Of course, we can drop that down to here, and we may be able to build in here depending on how things look and so on. So yeah, this is a very typical sort of wave 4. You could look at it as a wave 2 as well in this instance, because well, not really, because it's got 3 waves here really, so it's more of a flat correction, 335 rather than a 535 correction for a wave 2. So yeah, we'll just look at these 5 waves to the upside, so we can envisage Friday, what's today, Thursday, isn't it? So yeah, so this is going to take a wee while to, you know, to move up through here. So we should be able to turn bullish over this side of the market, but this is, you know, this is the point where it would be, we're basically doing a rinse and repeat of this particular situation over here when we were looking at this as a possible high at that point. So we need to rinse and repeat and do the same thing at this level here for this. But anything sort of above this point here, then we can turn bullish on the markets at that point. But I can't do it just yet. And there's still some bearish scenarios out there with the banks, but still, as I mentioned before, it was kind of a little bit weird. Is that this is just another bullish count here, but it's a bearish count, so that wave one would sit over here for that. I won't go into that right at the moment. So the stocks that there's stocks like BAC that have gone down in like 3 waves here, and they're just rallying at the moment, so then there's stocks like Apple and Tesla and Meta platforms and so on. They've actually been going up here, so we've been looking for the tops of them, and it looks like some of them can, like Meta, can have another little top and so forth. But when like the banks have this, if we view this as a wave 4 and they go down for their wave 5 here, then these markets that have been moving up, like Apple, Meta platforms, NVIDIA, they will just have their ABC patterns here, and then hopefully they can all find their lows together and can move up at that point. So they're the two different things that are still going on in the market. So to be able to accommodate them and bring them into the same flow, because everything pretty much moves on an intraday basis, everything pretty much moves the same. I mean, obviously not everything, there'll always be a black sheep out there and so on, but so yeah, anyway, I suppose the NASDAQ is a bit of a different pattern as well, in that it's kind of incorporating all the stocks there. So we could, on the bullish side, we could look at it as, I could look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up here, right? Yes, it does overlap, but still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an ABC over here for wave 2, and then move up at that point, because it's going to be, if it's going to be bullish, it's going to be this wave 1 and 2 coming back and moving up, or it's going to be a bigger wave 1 and 2. So we're yet to see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, and it can be corrective. It can be bearish as well. So all we're really waiting for is a classic trading levels pattern, at the 13,000. That's going to help us a lot, because if we look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, put that wave 1 over here, and then we pull back into here somewhere, it's either going to be that or 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So we'll be able to eliminate them in due course. But yeah, anyway, enough waffling there. That in the meantime, we're heading higher, so we'll just look at that. So first of all, this is Apple here, and I may need to put Apple's wave 1 here and wave 2 in here for this as well, rather than having this here. But this is the same pattern as we're just looking at with the NASDAQ. So we can basically compare these patterns here. So this is Apple's on 1,000 ticks and this is on 2,000 ticks. It looks a little bit different, but basically this particular pattern here, I'm sure you've recognized it, and this is it here. And there's different stocks have got this in different ways, some exactly like this and some that are skewed in certain ways. So yeah, taking this top out here on the B wave here is part of the process in terms of cementing this in as a corrective pattern, so in confirming it, because I could say and we did look at this in both ways, a bearish cap, because I'd always scratch my head about having this as a leading diagonal here. I don't like to do those things unless I've got a lot of other information that's going to back those sorts of things up. But yeah, so I was in two minds about this particular thing. But while we're going down, we had to look at the bearish side. But now we know that because it's taken out the B wave here, that we'll be taking out this one here. So it's kind of nice to know that, because then you can go long. Do you know what I mean? And we've got this impulse wave moving in play here. So we also need to have a look at the bigger picture here for this market as well. I can't remember what I did here. Let me just go and we need to look at it in the bearish light. Let's just look at it in the bearish light first. So if it was going to be a bearish market, then we've looked at this before, but basically from here we've got, I mean, I could look at this as just an A and a B and a C wave up here as well, but from here as 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's that wave 4 pattern here, and then one more move to here, and then it could possibly come down here again, you know. I mean, it's kind of rinse and repeat of this situation, you know. So it's possible at that point. Is that the right move? I don't know. I mean, we can certainly look at it in different bullish ways as well. So, you know, we've still got to get to certain points within all of this. If we look at it like this with 1 and 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then in this instance, we'll have 5 waves up to 165. And then from this point to this point, we'll just have a little ABC coming back and testing in here. But if the banks are going to go down further, then it's a bit, this is probably a little bit short to look at this point. It's possible, and you know, we won't miss anything because we'll need to go long here on that, right? But that's a possible way to do it. The other way I was thinking about this to bring it into the fold with other markets is look at it like this here with from the low here. So this way we bring it into the Teslas of the world, even though it started much earlier. So Metastock and NVIDIA and all of those, but it started, you know, its run much earlier than the other ones. So, or did it? I thought they were November. I'll double check on that. Okay. So this is probably a reasonable count too, you know, because the time that this comes down here, that would be about the right timing for the banks to finish off at that point, you know. So looking at this here as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, as 1 and 2, that's, you know, that's good. I mean, even in the short term, you think, oh no, Pete, that's not happening, we're in a bullish market, and you could be right at that point. So we need to accommodate that as well. So when we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and we get 5 waves at 165 here, roughly speaking, anything above these last 5 waves here, well, then we'll have to be bullish again on that, you know. So all we're doing is just trying to bring all the markets together and sort of map out the future with the possibilities at that point. So this is pretty clear. It's like wave 4, so this would be wave 5. So 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5. Either way, at the top here, we're going to get some sort of pullback, you know. So taking the top out and going long here, that's fine to do. But the real question is do we come down to 150 or do we come down to 140? Or do we have a bigger bear market coming into play? They're the things that we need to work out. But in the meantime, obviously trading long on this coming into the old highs here at the 160 is going to be a bit of an issue. So it's going to spend some time dancing around there before it pushes up to 165. So same with Amazon here as well. You know, we've had this bullish count on it for, you know, since day dot, and yeah, but we've looked at the bearish side of it because we've been basically under the 100 here. Now, if we were going to turn bullish, once again, we would need that, like we just spoke about with NASDAQ and Apple, is that we need that move up on Apple to 165, so to speak. So we would need the same thing here as well. Once we've got that in here, then I would be looking more at the bullish side at that point. Any move above that, and I would turn bullish at that point. But we can still have a move up here and still be bearish at this point. So you know, the long trade setup here will be, you know, the classic trading levels pattern. So we need that nice first high above the level, then the pullback, and then we can go here. It doesn't mean that we, you know, just because it gives us a high and then pulls back, it doesn't mean that it's going to take this one out or this one or this one out. doesn't mean anything at that point. If it does, then we go long. It's as simple as that, you know. So we don't have that sort of setup in there just yet. So on the bearish side, where we've been looking for this, is that this is how I've had it here with this situation here. But when you think about it, with Apple moving up, if we allow another move to the upside here to come into play and still keep it bearish at that point, then that would be the look. That it doesn't matter about being right or wrong. It's really about taking the next logical step. I mean, it's nice to be right, don't get me wrong, but you know, it's, you know, you got to have a bit of game theory going on here with this, you know. So yeah, so anyway, I know what a setup looks like to me on the long side. So and I'm not interested. I mean, one's the strongest number in the market, be it 1 cent, 10 cents, $1, $10, $100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. It's the one is the strongest number. It's not going to go very far from here in the short term. You know, I mean, obviously the stochastics looks quite good at this point too in all of this. So let's just continue to the bearish side, which from 50 we go to 1,000, and just look at this here. So this is how we've had it here, and this is the same pattern that we've been looking at, isn't it? You know, it's different, but it's same but different, you know. So we should be pushing up. Now, I mean, obviously we need to take out this high here. Will that be the case? That may not. It might be wave one here with an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, and we just come down at that point. So that's still possible. It's probably more likely we're going to be pushing up here higher in 5 waves, and this is the low here. So we'll need to look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moving up into 105, into which is, I think, 61.8% at that point too. So, and then in that case, we'd probably have to look at this as the A wave here, the B wave over to here, and the C wave over to here. So all I can say is that, well, once again, we just need patience because we didn't get the trade and we didn't get the move to the downside. So yeah, we just need to allow this move up here to see how it plays out at this point. So yeah, I'll just keep these 2 counts here for the time being. Yeah, rightio. So over to NVIDIA. So with NVIDIA, we have to do the same thing again as well. We have to look at this as the A wave, the B wave, 1, 2, 3, probably, and wave 4 to here. I haven't really pulled that apart. But we've had this here as, you know, we've had this as wave 5 top here and wave 3 top for, you know, quite some time. But anyway, there we go. So in this case, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for 1 and 2 to come back, you know, and then 3, 4, 5. So it's got a fair way to go really here, isn't it, you know, to push to the upside. So that's where that is. How far will it go up here? I'm not sure. The 8's always a bit of a sticking number. I mean, it should go above the 8, but we'll see what the structure looks like as it goes. But on the long side for NVIDIA and Meta platforms. So from this wave 4, I'm going to look at it as wave 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 here. And then 3 and 4, we've got the nice 5 waves here, and wave 3 here. The same, different but same, you know. And then we need to look at 5 waves moving up higher through this. Wave 1 wasn't that big here, but we should end up, I mean, the number 1 here, the 10, is going to be, you know, and it'd be hard for this market to get through these tops, and secondly to leave this number here as well, the 200. Big numbers are sticky. So, but yeah, you count this in different ways. You could go 1 and 2 in here, and 3 and 4 and 5. You could go that way. You could go 1 and 2 here, and 3, 4, 5. So there's a couple of different ways to view that. But it won't go far from these tops here. It's going to be a bit sticky in there. Okay, so Netflix. So this one's a little bit more interesting, really, because, you know, we'd counted 5 here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And because we had 5 waves here, and that was pretty clear, it was 5 waves, so we got our correction. I did get this wrong at this point, but anyways, picked up pieces and went on, and then we had this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it kind of made a nice ABC at this point. But now we've got this as an ABC pattern in here, and it hasn't taken out the top here just yet for this. But once it takes that top out, I'll just put that here. Once that top is taken out, what it does, it confirms this as being an ABC for wave 4 here. And then if it's going to be an ABC for wave 4 here, the interesting thing here is that we'll have 1, 2, 3. Once that's confirmed as wave 4, and it's not by taking that top out there, once it does that, then we'll have wave 5 here. And if we're going to get wave 5 here, then we're going to have an A and a B and a C wave here. And then we're going to have another 5 waves up. So we're going to have some sort of ABC, and then another 5 waves up here. I don't know if I can still contain it in here in terms of an A wave here, a B wave up here, and then a C wave to come down here. I'm not sure if that's going to. So what have I done here? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically, I'll just use these here. And 5 waves up here for the A wave, the B wave down here, and the C wave up here. It's either going to be that, or we'll have to look at this being, wave 1 to the upside as a bullish move. So we'll see how this wave C here plays out here. Is it going to be lazy? What's it going to look like? All of those sort of things. But yeah, 5 waves here, 5 waves here, and if that's taken out, that gives us 5 here. So yeah, I don't think. Just trying to think of another way to look at it. I mean, I have to continue those together. Could I put this as an A and a B and a C wave here? Possibly. Anyway, a bit more talk on that, but we expect this top to be taken out here and sort of should end up around 345, 350 area for Netflix. Enphase here, and I'll have to look at this here. It's a little bit of a weird one, but I'll have to look at this here as the. Oh, I suppose we could go here as an A, but that's, see, this gave me 5 waves down to here, and then the correction, and then another 5 waves down to here, and let me just open that up a little bit here. That was 5 waves, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, got it. 5 to here. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to here. Can I look at this as an ABC pattern, or do I need to come back up here further? Okay, I'll just need to think about that a bit further too. Sorry about that. I thought I had that under control, but when you look at something the second time or something, you get sort of a few ideas. So we'll just see, where's that? Yeah, but the others have got to go up, Pete. That's not going to be long enough, is it? No, you're on the right track, man. So, I mean, there is going to be resistance here for that. Okay, that's the 61.8%, and we can see that coming in, but the end of the session helps to stall things as well. So we'll probably need to look at this as, I'll need to pull that apart. It could be wave 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gee, it might not even be in there yet. Anyway, I'll do some more work on that. I've put this as 5 waves here as well. So yeah, I'll need to look at this like this here. So it's not weird, it's still an ABC, but the proportions aren't very nice on that. So maybe this belongs to a B wave over here somewhere. But anyway, we can't go short, we can't really go long at this point either. The long trade for getting a position will be having 5 waves up here and then an ABC coming back at that point and then going long from that point. So we're really kind of back here where we are anyway, you know. I mean, short term you can go long. I mean, this is a little bit of a complicated scenario on these lows here. You know, I still don't know if we got the... It's probably not. We're probably in some more complicated correction. I'll reassess this situation, but yeah, the timing wouldn't be right for 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 down here for this. It's too far behind the 8 ball. It's not going to be right. In fact, I'm going to remove them now. It's not right. That's not right. I need to look at it. I need to look at it in some other way. If anybody's got any ideas, send them through, be much appreciated. I mean, one of the interesting things too I could say here is that we are seeing copper, not so much nickel, but copper and lithium can be in larger bullish trends at this point. So I think that's kind of interesting. So I just got to be careful that, you know, that this is not wave one up here and this is sort of finished here in some particular way, you know. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to it. It'll come out. It'll come out either short or long once we give it some time. We don't. It'd be nice to get it right before it happens, of course, but I need to give it some more thought. So, okay. The reason I'm showing this for is mainly because of Google here. Okay, so this is the communications section. So Google's done the same thing, it's done the same pattern, but in a slightly different way. And we'll have a look at that. So I'm thinking here, I mean, this move down here, I can look at it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here, you know. So now it's pushing the 61.8% and it looks like it wants to go higher and would expect it to go higher for another 2 or 3 sessions. That's going to bring it pretty high up here. I may have this too high up here, but it's kind of interesting really. I mean, this move down here has overlapped this here. So the other point with this too, from the top here, I've got this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And then we've got the third wave down here with 5 waves in it and the fourth and then the fifth here. I could probably shorten that up a little bit and change that. Wave 5. I could have an ABC pattern in here for that. I'll just I'll go back and have a look at that again. That little section in there. That could be a bit of a game changer. Okay, I need to double check that again. I mean, as a bullish count here, we can go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, right? Because it's overlapped here, that's the only bullish count we could look at it. So what we can do to be bullish is that we can focus on this a little bit more, but we'll focus on the Google one. I mean, Google's in this move here, Google's still quite low here actually. So, but once all those markets top and we get that current 5 waves that we're on here, then we'll see how this but anything sort of above it at that point, then we can be long at that point, or be, you know, turn this into a bullish market. So this move here, right, when we look at at Google, if I can just squash this up a little bit here, see, it's pretty butt ugly here really, this thing here, and it looks corrective, you know. So I've just got this as an A, B, C here for the A wave, and then an A, B, C for the B wave here, and then up for the C wave here. So in this case, I've got 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 here. But I don't. This is on the sort of a bigger bullish picture to come into play here as wave 5 up here of C. And when this finishes here, if this moves up here, I don't think that it will. And I'll talk about that in a moment. But if this one's going to take its top out here and go into that C wave, this is where I've got this as an ABC for the A wave and ABC for the B wave and the C wave here, and looking for 5 waves in that. So that's the you know, the B to the C here for this. So even though if it does turn bullish here, it's still not a good looking, you know, I mean, I could look at it as wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, you know, that's all doable. But yeah, anyway, we'll see. But there's 2 things I need to talk about here though. So I just wanted to talk about that bigger picture first for Google. So we'll leave this wave 5 and C up here and see how it travels. The other thing is that this has been really quite weak, and it hasn't really had the same corrective pattern as the other market. So I think we still need to look at it as a bearish move. So one and two here. So we'll just give this a little bit of time. We don't have to do anything with this here at the moment. And let's just see how it plays out here. So we'll see if we get up here as the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here, and then mosey on down here. But this would need to develop further, and it would move down in line with the other market. So let's just see how this plays out here. It's a little bit of a messy one, the old Google. Microsoft is a little bit cleaner. So we've had this. Yeah, we've had this as wave 3 here. The thing I don't know about this one here, I mean, I'd like to put wave 4 over here because it would give me the same timing as the NASDAQ and the other markets. But I don't get 5 waves down this move here. Right, I only get sort of, I suppose it could be in there, tucked in there somewhere. I'll need to look at it. I'll double check on it tomorrow. But either way, we're going to have to take out this high here. So either way, we're going to be moving up here. How high it goes up here. See, what I didn't know if I should look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I know that doesn't look so crash hot there, but it does look sort of okay. But I don't know if I need to put wave 1 here or wave 1 here. But either way, this will be wave 1 moving up here of some degree anyway. So it's probably this one. In terms of timing with the rest of the markets, and then another continued move up there at that point. So I'll put this over here, and yeah, it's probably a B wave in there, I reckon. So I'll have to put this here, but I will double check on it. Yeah, just suit the timing better with everything, because you've got to kind of think of all the other markets. You just you'll make too many mistakes if you go singular with things. Okay, so that's that. And Berkshire Hathaway here. So, I mean, I'd like to turn bullish on this. It's got all the bullish, this is a nice pattern here, but I can't just yet. So I need the S&P and the NASDAQ to have its 5 waves up, and we'll just see here. So this is going to push up. So I was going to look at it as wave A and B and a C wave up here for this. So we'll chase those 5 waves up there. And then we'll see how it tops. And once again, with this market, once it has its 5 waves up here, wherever it comes to, right, anything above that, and then we'll be forced to go long at that point. Anything above that, above this move here. So we can just wait for that, and we'll be forced to swap these around and look at all of this as wave 1 up here, and back for wave 2 over to this point here, and then we'll have to look at that as wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and build to the upside. But in the meantime, we'll just chill. I don't even think that that's going to give us the right timing either as 1 and 2 here. I think that timing's way out of whack. But anyway, we'll just leave it. We'll just track these dudes up here, and yeah, if we're forced to go long, well, that's what we have to do. Tesla. So we've had Tesla in 2 different ways. We've had it with wave 1 here, and an A and a B and a C for wave 2. And if that was the case, then I could look at this move up here in a couple of different ways, but it doesn't really matter what will happen in the end. And this B wave that I got here, because we're looking at this as an ABC pattern here. Now, if we're going to keep the bearish pattern, which is having wave C over here, if all the other markets pull back, then I'll have to put wave B over here and look at this as an ABC for the A wave, the B wave, and then the C wave here. In both cases, and I can count this bullish count here, wave 2 going up here. I don't have to count it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. I could count it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, but it does look quite nice as a wave 4th. But as a wave 4th, it does overlap wave 1 here, so that's a bit of an issue. So it kind of gives it a bit of B wave weight at that point. But either way, what we can do is just wait for the first high to come into play, something like this here. and then once that's in there, we don't have to do anything. You know, we just need to wait. We go long above that top. That's all we need to do. We can get a second opportunity on that to go long at that point, and otherwise it's going to retest that and then come down here for this, you know. So they're the scenario. In the meantime, if this low here is breached, let's say that it doesn't go to the upside here, let's just say in the next session it crashes, then you can be short under here, because because it'll be overlapping too much at that point, and will leave us with 3 waves to the upside. So the takeaway here is to go short under this if that occurs. Probably not. Move up here, it could be wave B or wave 1 here, so we just play it out to the end, okay, and then we can make a move for that. Now I can go in there on the intraday and look at all of this, but it'll just be the same sort of thing as well. We'll be looking for a little move to the upside, so I won't worry about it on this one. And then we come over to block. My main thing here with block is that we're I mean, I suppose we could do something really weird here, but you know, the fact that it's taken out this low here, it forces this to be the ABC pattern here. I mean, we could do something weird like sort of wave 1 here and 2 here, or wave 1 and no, I have to go wave 1 and 2 here, and wave 3, 4, 5, and then an A and a B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for this to be a C wave here, and then go up from that point. But I just don't think, you know, it's a long shot, you know. While the others are pulling back, this is one of those stocks that I mentioned right at the beginning of the video that would likely come down here further, you know. You know, there's still things that need to come out in the wash here, you know. Hindelberg or whoever they are, the short sellers that are shorting these guys, making money off them, and you know, I don't even know if you, you know, I mean, I respect whistleblowers in a sense, you know, because it takes courage to right a wrong in a way. But when you got short sellers, just they're like sort of little kids telling porky pies with people, you know. So without having, I didn't see any evidence, you know. So all I heard is stories, you know. And sure, you know, I mean, there would be, you know, on Square, and which is a sub of Block and so on, you know, there would be people buying marijuana and stuff, you know, of course there would be, but you know, I mean, so is UBS, you know, they're doing the big cartels, aren't they? You know what I mean? So, you know, still. There's more dodginess in fiat currency than there is in Bitcoin. I mean, and why would a criminal sort of use the blockchain anyway, you know, when it leaves evidence there for things? Anyway, that's just all chit-chat, but that's that. And so basically we've got to put Square, you know, in the banking sector to a point, you know, so they're all getting hammered. So this is BAC, this is a pretty clear count of 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 and 5 down here. So having this 4 and 5 is really quite suitable for the markets in general, I think, you know. So that means that Apple can remain bullish, and Apple will have its ABC pull back, and BAC will finish its low down here from wave 4 and 5 to come into play down here. Wave 2 was complicated, so wave 4 could be simple here. And what we've been looking at this on 10 ticks over the last couple of videos, so we'll go back into that. Is that enough? Not enough. When is it enough? Too much. Okay, so this is the low here, and I've got it as wave 3 or wave 1 here. But the more I think about this, the more I like wave 3 here. But anyway, I'll just keep chuffing away at it. Doesn't really matter at this point. So we've been looking up as wave A and B here. And then once again, like those other markets that need to top that we're talking about, that looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there, doesn't it? not too bad as 5 waves. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So basically that's what all those tech stocks we just looked at, they're all doing the same thing. So that's going to leave this here in a good situation of, you know, finishing this off as an ABC for wave 4 or wave 2 or whatever. Look, it might get more complicated, I don't know, but as an ABC pattern here, that's a bit of a highlight. So we could go to that point and then we come down from there, you know. That's what I'm sort of thinking. So we have to be a little bit careful. It'd be different if I had 5 waves up here of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, because then we'd have a correction and get another 5. But when we don't have that yet, we don't have that. I'm not saying yet. I don't know if that was a Freudian slip or something. But yeah, it's just one step at a time, really, isn't it? You know, that's all you can do. I mean, you can guess till the cows come home, but we have to get ourselves in a situation where we actually know what's going on, you know. Anyway, that's it at this point. That sort of, I think this here sums it up quite nicely. So in terms of the bearish banks, bringing them in line with the bullish tech stocks topping out, and this correction topping out here together, and then all going south after that. I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.